On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Just so much going on in the news right now. Going to jump into it because there really is a lot to cover. And there's Trump did amazing things, obviously, with the entire, the shutdown still going on, but with the entire peace negotiation. Incredible. Just, it really is. We've got certainly some things to celebrate about that, and we'll talk about that in a second. But do want to give a quick call out to Charlie Kirk Day. Happy birthday, Charlie Kirk. If you would have been alive, I believe would have been 32 this year, I think. But this is Charlie Kirk Day, and so again, the 14th is Happy Charlie Kirk Day. We should always remember, hopefully. President Trump is awarding or going to award Charlie Kirk with the Medal of Freedom today. I did just see a video of Charlie Kirk's wife walking up towards the Rose Garden, so she has or is arriving as we speak, and we'll soon be having that award bestowed upon her. That should be fantastic. Of course, blessed are the peacemakers. Donald Trump put this out, or at least the White House did, I should say. But a great picture. I love it, actually. The peacemakers. They shall inherit the earth, right? Bill Maher. I mean, calling a spade a spade. Again, lately I've been having a harder time finding stuff he says that I agree with. This is pretty good, though.
I always say this. You cannot ever deny success. You just have to give your respect. Even if it's not your thing, have the humility to give it up for enormous success on any level.
I agree.
Trump, not my choice, didn't vote for him, but
a lot of people did.
And he's, I can't deny the success.
I can't either.
Yeah.
And he's the president.
Again, he seems so sad to say that. I don't know. I mean, I think back to if Biden would have done stuff that was truly successful on a larger scale, where something like this, where I would be sure, if he would have stopped any of the wars, I'd be like, dude, got to give Biden a call for good job, dude. You probably didn't do it because there's no way you're conscious, but good job. A little different nowadays for some reason. Got a video going viral right now showing many of the city council members in Portland, Oregon, that refuse to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I mean the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm even going to say,
Clerk will take the roll.
One thing to not stand, just out of reverence for those who are standing, right? If you don't want to put your hand on your heart, that's another thing. Okay, I mean, at least stand and give reverence to the people in the room, right? If you don't want to give reverence to the symbol of our wonderful, great country, okay, I guess. That doesn't make sense, especially as a city council member, but to just totally be a dick? I mean, wow. That's like being a Durbin, Dick Durbin. Anyway, maybe not good. There has been a J.B. Pritzker sighting, so I hope you guys are prepared for this because this is pretty freaking fantastic. J.B. Pritzker actually showing up in public. They were trying to help him off an airplane. It didn't go well, apparently, but we'll show you in here. Here he goes.
Come on, sir. Big breath out for me. Push on 3. 1, 2, 3. Still stop. Just relax those shoulders, okay? Let us do the work. Can't move.
Is that belly button cleavage? Because it looks like his boobs are up here, right? Is that belly button cleavage? I didn't even know that could happen, frankly. This is disturbing to me on so many levels. This is actually probably one of the most horrific things I could show on camera, though oddly, probably okay, right? I can't show people dying, which is good. Can't show accidents happening that might actually show something serious happening, even though you may not see it. But this, for some reason, wow. Talk about if there was an ad for Ozempic, this would be it, right there. Right there, that would be the one. I'd wish him well every step of the way. There's a huge standoff is going on right now in Chicago, speaking of J.B. Pritzker. Apparently something happened with the car. Police, one of the ICE cruisers crashed into something, and then people lost their shit. So this might, I don't know, be the start of something crazy. Again, this was just breaking as I was going online.
And when you first got on scene and you were able to talk to some neighbors and some witnesses there on the scene and describe to us what initially...
Judy, wait 1 second. Okay. I see Chicago police are arriving and putting themselves in the middle of the situation right now. It appears there might be someone in command, from what I can see, approaching the area. I'm not sure if this is in an attempt to start dispersing the crowd. But we have just in the last few seconds seen Chicago police who had remained at bay now starting to put themselves in the middle of the, oh God. Protesters are starting to throw rocks. We're going to get away from the scene right now, Judy.
Okay, Michelle, you take care of yourself. I'm going to let her get off the phone. We really appreciate it. Get to a safe place. So what you're watching, what you continue to watch is exactly what Michelle has been describing. This, again, at the intersection 105th and Avenue N. Last Michelle said as protesters started throwing rocks, and you can see that there is some chemical being deployed right there at this intersection. Just prior to this, you did see what appeared to be Chicago police officers and some commanders there trying to have some type of a dialogue with the protesters there at the intersection. It would seem that they were trying to disperse the crowd and maybe usher them off the street so that the agents could possibly move their vehicles. And it was at that point that Michelle noticed that protesters started throwing rocks, and this is the end result. Earlier, we had heard that there were pepper balls being sprayed into the crowd because someone had thrown eggs, or some neighbors had thrown something at the agents. And now reports of rocks being thrown, and that was coming from Michelle, a reporter right there on the ground.
What I find interesting is that Michelle left right when this became mostly peaceful. Did you notice that? How the second it became mostly peaceful, she's like, I gotta go. I wonder why. Mostly peaceful. That's so strange. So strange how people behave in the most peaceful of circumstances. It's like they got scared or something. That's weird. A.G. Paxton is pursuing legal action against the Islamic Epic City developers. That's that Islamic-y group up there that wants to do the Sharia law. East Plano Islamic Center. This one's got a lot of people fired up out there in Tejas. So pissed off, in fact, they're not actually eating tacos. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. So they're trying to put an end to this. Paxton's looking into it. We'll see where it goes from there. Sister-in-law of Mitt Romney found dead near a SoCal parking garage. You guys know me. Like, first off, always feel bad whenever anyone's family dies. He's technically a Republican, but without a doubt, this is one of the biggest pieces of shit rhino out there. I feel horrible that anyone in his family has befallen any harm. That is just absolutely horrendous. Carrie Elizabeth Romney, sister-in-law, she fell from a parking garage, something like 5 floors. You guys know where I'm at when it comes to people falling out of buildings. It's not normal. People don't normally fall out of buildings. They get car crashes, die in their sleep, commit suicide even sort of occasionally sometimes, but falling out of buildings, I mean, it happens, like I said. Beginning of Lethal Weapon, very, very cool part of the movie. She had some nice little boobies. It was fantastic. Very sad, though. That was at least the alleged scene that happened. Letitz James's fugitive niece has been ducking justice in the disputed primary residence. She's also a fine-looking young lady. Woo! Boy. Ha! It's so hot in here. But yes, she is apparently a felon. And she has left the state that she's a felon in, which is not okay. She's been ducking authorities in North Carolina for failing to finish her probation. And she's living in the home that's considered a primary residence of Letitz James. It's her family felon in her home. Yeah, this just got worse for Letitz James. Just got worse. Not better, but worse. So yeah, we know how to shut up a Democrat. And it's pretty cool. This is Gutfeld on the 5 or whatever, but he did a pretty sweet little 2 minutes here, and certainly worth it. I think this guy's pretty funny most of the time.
No way! Hey, hey! It's video of the day! Hey, hey!
The texts were violent, so she stayed silent. Our video of the day comes to us from the Virginia governor debate, where winsome Earl Sears cornered Dem candidate Abigail Spanberger on her continued support of Jay Jones. Roll it, Axel.
Jay Jones advocated the murder, Abigail, the murder of a man, a former speaker, as well as his children who were 2 and 5 years old. You have little girls. What would it take him pulling the trigger? Is that what would do it? And then you would say he needs to get out of the race? Abigail, you have nothing to say? Abigail,
Jesus.
What if he said it about your your 3 children? Is that when you would say he should get out of the race, Abigail?
Whoa. Now we know what it takes to shut up a Democrat. The plain and obvious truth. Spanberger then took a page from the Biden School of Debating by freezing up and staring into space. At least she didn't her pants. That we're aware of. But a rough night didn't end there. Here's her cowardly ducking a question on men and women's locker rooms.
Would you rescind the Youngkin administration policy requiring boys and girls to use bathrooms aligning with their biological sex? You have 30 seconds.
My priority would be to ensure that local communities, importantly parents and teachers and educators, are able to work together to meet the unique needs of each school and each community. And that is important. And I say that.
So that's where Spanberger stands on protecting females. If their dad's a Republican, there's a target on their backs. But if they stand up to pee, you go, girl. Just make it into the urinal. Tom,
something that confuses me a lot is I don't get how... I'm trying to see if I can find one that's kind of a little more close up on her. This chin, this jaw... technically the size of her head relative to her shoulder. She just seems like an out of proportion woman, doesn't she? I mean, I'm going to assume because she's in politics that if she's, not what she claims to be, that she's one of the ones that had it done to her a long time ago. Someone like Pink or I don't even know who else to throw out the top of my head right now. But I think some of these people were done at super early ages, so they've kind of evolved somewhat, like even skeletally correctly, but there's still some weird telltales. I mean, she doesn't look like she had the Adam's apple surgery, so who knows. Republican Winsome Earl Sears and Democrat Abigail Spanberger, they're in a dead heat, so apparently she is losing ground. We need to make sure if we're Jersey people, we got to get out there and vote pretty please. Here is Rep. Mike Johnson talking about Epstein. He says more is going to come, but he does kind of make a good point. Anyways, check it out.
No. Let's talk about Grijalva and Epstein. Okay. Once more for everybody. Everybody in Congress, I think, is for maximum transparency of the Epstein files. That is underway right now. Let me point out before I go further, all of the files were in the possession of the Biden-Harris Department of Justice for 4 years. Every single thing that we're talking about right now was in their sole possession. They could have released it. They could have done anything. Ro Khanna, all the Democrats who are jumping up and down making noise about this, didn't say a peep about it for 4 years. I don't know why, but this is another partisan manufactured thing. Is it a serious problem? Yes. I have sat with the victims, some of the ladies who bravely have come forward and talked about the horrors that they sustained because of traffickers on Epstein Island and all the things he was involved in. Everybody involved in that should have the full weight of justice descend upon their head. And we're all for that. We want every single person who had anything to do with that to be exposed. But there's as many as 1,000 victims estimated. That's what the victims say. There may be 1,000 women who were made to suffer these unspeakable harms because of this. Many of them were underage at the time. They have not all chosen to come forward like some of these other brave women have for obvious reasons. And we have to make sure that when the files are released, their names are redacted so they don't suffer further harm. We have a duty and a responsibility. You can't just wave a wand and just open the floodgates. You have to make sure that the victims don't suffer additional harms. That's all we've said. Let's make sure it's done the right way. That's underway, by the way. The House Oversight Committee asked the Democrats and Republicans on that committee who are working on that vigorously. As I said, some of the biggest, bulldogs in Congress are on that committee, and they're all joined together in a bipartisan fashion, digging through and releasing documents. 34,000 documents so far, and more on the way. In fact, as I noted a couple of days ago, the attorneys for the House Oversight Committee during the shutdown are still doing work. They were in New York City combing through the Epstein estate files. By the way, that was never even mentioned or anticipated in the discharge petition, for those of you who are following all the details of this. So more is coming out. We're for all of it coming out as soon as possible. The only thing we want to make sure of is that the innocent victims are protected, and I think we have a responsibility to do that.
And again, just how many people are going to come out and just be like, it takes too long, or it shouldn't take that long, is what they're going to say, right? I mean, just again, everybody's got opinions. Where was all of this talk back during Biden's administration? Where was all this talk during Trump's original administration? Where was all this talk during Obama's administration? There's been multiple times in history we could have asked for this stuff. Why is it that we're asking now? Well, easy answer, because now it's on the front burner. Who put it there? Now, we kind of were asking for it, and we had expectations of how it was supposed to play out, and it's not playing out the way we expected it to. So for the most part, I kind of blame us. I mean, again, it's cool that's coming out, and good on us for getting it out, but we're also mostly the ones that are complaining that it's not happening quick enough, and, it's a lot. And I do think to be fair, I think there is probably some redactions that should happen, and again, who knows? Who knows? I'm sure, hopefully they don't hide stuff that they shouldn't hide. I do think we've got one of the most open, I'll say most open. I think Mike Johnson's pretty open. I think Thune is pretty open. I certainly think Kash Patel's open. I think Trump's open. Bessent, I trust. Right? Witkoff, I trust. Certainly Hegseth. Woods, I'm drawing a blank. Miller, of course, and then Marco Rubio. Like we've got like an amazing group of people around Trump, and I think we're seeing progress. I really do. I want to remind you guys, Healthy Home, heal thy home. But Healthy Home, it's focused on healthy living. And what these are products that are going to help us, one, with the aging process mostly, but it helps us kind of do it in a really cool, upbeat, positive way. Like, for example, okay, as your body ages, we break down kind of quicker than we repair, right? Well, part of the repair system, that's better, is through your stem cells, your own stem cells. Now, what STEM Active does is it actually enhances your body's ability to create stem cells. It means you create more stem cells using basic plant-based, really awesome ingredients for that matter, but it has your body do it itself. It's not putting stem cells into you. Most of those typically come from fetuses. They're very effective with extreme injury, and a lot of professional athletes will use them. They'll get injections right into, where the spot is. And those stem cells can become other cells. So if you've got muscle damage, bone damage, you got any sort of organ damage, liver damage, for one organ that some of us maybe are mean to, stem cells help repair that. That's what it does. So as you age, you need to be repaired. And if that repairing happens slower, I don't know why I want to try to make that word fancier than it needs to be. When it's repairing more slowly, that means the damage is being done more quickly, and you're kind of starting to go backwards. You're starting to lose. You're starting to shrink, shrivel. You're getting spots. Things are starting to break down. That's why. Stem cells help hugely. This is just an easy way to enhance your own body's ability. There's a gel, which is pretty delicious. I like the pills, honestly. I've been doing the gel because my girlfriend left me with a bunch of these boxes, so I got to try to use them, and I wanted to try it and see. I actually like the pills better. It's just easier, in my opinion, than trying to clip the top and then get it out of there. Like, it's easy to pop 2 pills, take a sip of water, and all right, I'm done. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Kind of depends on the direction you like going. Balance, ladies. 2 parts of your ladies' life that are hormonally crazy. It's actually when they're very young and when they're older. And this is actually a product that works in both cases. And it works actually for everybody anyways. But in general, it just helps your body deal with its hormones. Again, there's no synthetic hormones in it. I was on a call. 2 ladies were talking about their experience with this. Both of them were receiving the synthetic hormone pills. One of them actually had great success with the synthetic hormone pills, started taking Balance and the hormone pills, and it worked even better. She was like, perfect. The other lady didn't react well to the synthetic hormones, just went to Balance and was perfect. Both of them were extraordinarily happy with the results, and both of them actually sell the product as well, but they're living examples of how this works. It's a plant-based. It's a transdermal lotion. You put a little on your wrist. You can do it's by pump. 1 pump, 2 pumps, 3 pumps. A lot of people start at 3 pumps, and you rub your wrists together like that. Right? And there's 2 areas where a lot of blood flow happens, so it's a very easy way to get it into your system, and you almost immediately begin to feel different. You're starting to feel more patient. Your emotions aren't all over the place. Your temperature regulation's much better. You're not having a lot of the craziness that comes with this emotional, it's just chemical, really. It's hormonal. This hormonal imbalance, this hormonal moment in the body as it transitions, this helps them majorly. Ladies are raving about it. Not always talking, but raving. I mean, it's a powerful product. Amaze is another one. The lady that was on the call, she got this one, started this one because of her hair. She was freaking out about her hair. That's why my girlfriend does it. My girlfriend double dips on this one. She does 2 a day. She loves it. She's stoked. Her hair is like freaking awesome and gorgeous, and so is her skin, by the way. I do one a day, and I'm noticing actually too. Fingernails grow a lot faster than I'm used to, which is kind of annoying, frankly, as a dude. I don't really like that, but I just cut them more often. Hair's growing faster. We'll see. I'm kind of fighting the thinning process going in the back a little bit. Not totally bald or anything, but it's thinning. I'm doing what I can to help with that as well. So I'm hoping Amaze is going to give me some amazing results there too. We'll see. I'll let you guys know. It's a process. I'm sure wearing a hat all the time doesn't help. Prime is another good one. It helps get more nitric oxide moving through your body, essentially more oxygen in your blood. It makes your blood more oxygenated, and when it does that, it gives you more energy, and that's literally what it does. It just gives you more energy. It's not like caffeine or a supplement where you kind of feel a kick in your energy. You just have more energy. Whenever you go to do something, you're like, this is oddly easier to do than it normally is. Walking up and down the stairs, it doesn't feel like it's as big a deal for some reason, right? Your body's producing or moving more oxygen through the blood, and thusly it's helping. It's a lot of athletes, so oxygenate themselves on the side. And you do that, or even deep divers, they'll do it to get hyper-oxygenated blood. And so when they go down and like hold their breath, or in the case of athletes, when they really start working hard, they've got a lot of extra oxygen in the blood already, so their muscles and everything can continue to get fed. This essentially is kind of helping you do that on a much smaller scale. And so again, a delicious powder. Just dissolves right in your mouth immediately. It's fantastic. And the whole stem cell thing, your animals, your pets, it's a chewable. It's about half the price of what people pay. And it's extraordinarily effective for the little ones too. Again, as we age, or even as they get surgeries and stuff like that, you need some extra stem cells running around the body to make sure it heals quickly. This is one of the many reasons I would recommend it for your pets. I also recommend you just take it in general because you're constantly under bombardment from oxidants and all this crazy stuff that's out there, right? So this is constantly helping you do that. You'll find that you start sleeping better. Your digestion will start being a little more normal. Just a lot of things seem to kind of regulate. It's a neat pill. I've been taking this one for a while, and it's pretty cool. And I kind of notice when I forget to take it. And it's not often I do, but every once in a while, I'm like, what's up? And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't do it today. So check it out. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. They've also got a sweet sale going on right now because it's October and it's Breast Awareness Month. So I think we got some extra special stuff when you do that. So keep that in mind when you go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. You go to the shop tab. Now, there is a couple ways to join. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but as a customer, you're just essentially kind of paying the highest prices, and it's easier, right? There are 2 memberships that you can join. I highly recommend the executive membership. It's just easier. All you got to do is buy one product. You have to select it pretty much right off the bat. And you can buy bundles. So if there's a few of these products you want to try, you actually save money in the bundle. It's actually just a really cool way. A lot of people, you get the big bundle, and it gives you everything, and it gives you enough of it to where you don't necessarily have to buy anything again for like 3 months, and you're getting an actual big deal, a big break on it. So that's one of the reasons why the executive membership's better. The regular membership costs you $9.99 a month or something to that effect, and it's just kind of silly to pay that when you don't need to. You don't have to pay it if you buy a product up front, right? So if you're going to shop and buy something and you want to join, because then you get your own link and you can actually sell it to people too, and you make commission. So going through that executive membership. If you don't want to deal with all that crap, that's cool. Just shop as a customer. Simple stuff, less information that you need to give. That's the kind of the one advantage to being a customer. And you get the products, and you're helping me out tremendously. So I thank you very much for that. All said, danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. All right, shut down. A little bit of news that we've got here. Johnson dares Democrats to challenge Trump's move on the pay the military thing. They're all kind of saying, I don't think it's legal. And he's like, all right, whatever. I dare any one of you guys to come after this with the courts. I think that the Republicans want them to. Now, the 15th is tomorrow. That's when they're going to basically get their check already, from what we understand. So maybe they're going to try to drag this on further than that, and maybe they'll try to start fighting some of the stuff that Trump's doing to make it less painful for certain groups. Certainly the groups that have backed Trump, so farmers, soldiers, right? Like his constituents, he's making sure are okay. If you're, part of the Democratic club of whoever the hell, you're not getting anything. In fact, we're going to probably lay your whole entire group off as this progresses further and further. And I think Trump, I think right now it's not polling well, and it probably wouldn't. Now, again, our side would probably love it, but I don't even think our side's 100% on it. We got too many like Marjorie Taylor Greenes running around, I think, on our side that kind of making it difficult. So I think the pain needs to get a little more extreme, and then, again, people will be willing to do that thing that they don't want to do. Now, speaking of Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says, quote, "There's a lot of weak Republican men, and they're more afraid of strong Republican women. So they always try to marginalize the strong Republican women that actually want to do something and actually want to achieve." No, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I actually find the other very strong Republican women in the House to be fantastic. I have issue with you. It's not because you're a woman. It's not because you're strong. It's because you're constantly on the wrong side of things. You and Thomas Massey are problems. You and Thomas Massey need to go. Now, Bo Burr's great. There's Luna. She's pretty awesome, right? These are all very strong women. So I'm not quite sure what you're saying there, Marge. All I know is you've been on the wrong side of many, many, many things. So I'm not scared of you, and I'm not a Republican anyway, so I can have all sorts of opinions about your punk ass. And I will. Jeffries weighs in on Marjorie Taylor Greene's surprisingly enlightened few weeks. You know when House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries even basically likes you now, you're doing something wrong. So there you go, Marjorie Taylor Greene. If you had any question as to whether or not you're doing the right thing, there you go. Hakeem Jeffries is in support of you as you continue to buck your party on healthcare, foreign conflicts, and the Epstein files. That just means you're against everybody, Marjorie, and you're with them. I think it's clear, personally. Anyway, I know some people are probably upset about that. Whatever. Maxine Waters threatens to keep government shut down if Dems don't get health insurance tax credits. They're fighting for this thing that it runs out in December. And I think the Republicans are kind of already halfway trying to work on it. They're certainly trying to talk about it. In fact, I do think that this was him. Oh, this was the challenging the move. I thought there was a speech in there where I might maybe be down here further, but Speaker John. Oh, here it is. Speaker Johnson says that they've got plans to fix healthcare. It's on the table. They said there's a lot of aspects to it. They're obviously going to have to come to some agreements because certainly Republicans aren't going to be able to get away with all the cuts that they want per se, but certainly the Dems are going to have to give them some cuts. It needs to be carved back a little bit. There needs to be some guardrails put in place, and he's talking about it. It is broken. It is broken. And it basically, whenever government gets involved in anything, it instantly becomes more expensive because it's less efficient, and now you've got guaranteed government funds, so they jack the prices up always, and forever. And this is another perfect example of how they've done that. Here's Speaker Johnson basically talking about the government getting involved in stuff and making it worse. And this is them fighting. This is what he's talking about, the Democrats fighting for some of the stupid extra money that they're fighting for. I feel like I've got a slide that's going to talk about. Yeah, that's not it. Anyway, yeah, good enough. Here's Speaker Johnson talking about some of the crap they want. Stupid.
And they would send $500 million to liberal news outlets by refunding the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. It would also restore up to $5 billion of American taxpayer funds for wasteful spending for international projects. Here's a couple of examples. This is in their legislation, their counterproposal on the CR to keep the lights open. This is what they want to do. They want to spend $24.6 million of your hard-earned dollars as a taxpayer for climate resilience in Honduras. They want to spend $13.4 million for civic engagement in Zimbabwe. They want to send $3.9 million for LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Western Balkans. They want to spend $2.9 million of your dollars for desert locust risk reduction in the Horn of Africa. And $2 million for, quote, organizing for feminist democratic principles in Africa. We are not doing that.
None of that stuff's needed, right? And again, the Democrats are going to fight for it, not necessarily because of their woke stuff, because this is where they funnel their money into specific people's pockets and specific groups, NGOs and things to that like. This is how they roll. And so they're fighting desperately for this. Though I'm assuming, with the exception of people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey, I assume we're actually going to be able to move forward and keep most everybody together on this. Senate GOP is setting up a single vote that was supposed to is supposed to reopen government. I actually believe from the second right now. It's supposed to be in about 26 minutes. They're going to open up for the votes. Yeah, 5:30 p.m. and it's basically it's 4 p.m. right now. My bad. So yeah, it's still got an hour and a half from now, and this vote's going to happen. So this, by the time you're watching this video, it's probably come out. I'm going to guess they're going to shut down the government, keep the government shut down. We'll see. Might get surprised. That would be cool. That'd be pretty fantastic, actually. Okay, so I'm going to play it in this order. It's kind of funny. So this is going to piss a lot of people off, and, rightly so. I'm not saying it shouldn't. This is in Toronto, up in...
What's your English? Marcy, ready?
Canada.
Yank!
So it's called Little Iran, Yonge Street or Yonge Street, however they say that. I don't know. And so Little Iran is really, really pissing people off. And again, rightly so. Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow announces the new district called Little Iran. Now, again, I have Persian friends, so I have no disrespect. But oddly, here's something they did in Tehran. That's in Iran, by the way. This is the Holy Virgin Mary metro station in Tehran, located next to the Armenian Christian Church. It's full of Christian imagery. So, this is in Tehran that they're doing this. I don't know. Just thought I'd share. Sometimes things are interesting like that. What do we got? Let's do that, and then we'll find out. Okay. Disclosed TV. Oh, Fox News. Yeah, so Fox News, CNN, CBS News, and NBC News, they refused to sign this new Pentagon rule. And this new Pentagon rule is kind of explained over here. And as Defense Secretary on Monday waved goodbye to all these groups, by the way, those same groups that said, we're not going to sign it, they're goodbye. But Pentagon has implemented several rounds of new restrictions on the press corps reporting on the military, including banning reporters from entering certain areas without an escort, banning reporters from soliciting tips for stories, and requiring reporters to sign a pledge to protect sensitive information. Outlets like Washington Post, Associated Press, Reuters, New York Times, The Atlantic, CNN, Fox News, and a few others. Everyone except OAN, believe it or not. Journalists from these different places said they're not going to be signing the new Pentagon's press release access policy. They thought that they could somehow just not sign it and still continue to have access. What Pete Hegseth is saying is, okay, you're not going to have any access then. Zero access. And they're going to go, but freedom of speech. It's like, no. This is top secret stuff, and we're in the middle of a war, so no. Sorry, you don't get that opportunity. That's not how this works. And again, do I want more secrets? No. But at the same time, we've got way too many leaks. Way too many. And that's just been something that's how the deep state has controlled the narrative. And that's not helpful either. Again, do I fully trust the state? No, not at all. Not even close. But I do trust Donald Trump. I do trust Hegseth. Again, I trust some of the people that we've got in place right now. Pam Bondi was someone I forgot to mention earlier. I like her. A lot of people don't like her. That's fine. I do. I think she's pretty awesome. So a Vienna man was arrested and charged with unlawfully retaining national defense information. This Lindsay Halligan lady, he's a dude, I think. I think he's a dude. Anyway, U.S. attorney for the Eastern District, Virginia. It would be a guy, but I'm so bad, right? That's a guy's, it's a girl's name. I've known dudes named Lindsay. So, anyway, this individual is Eastern District of Virginia. He is a U.S. attorney. He announced today that Ashley Tellis, 64 of Vienna, Virginia, was arrested over the weekend and charged by criminal complaint with the unlawful retention of national defense information in violation of this code, 18 U.S.C. 793. Kind of interesting, right? Vienna man. So, I don't know who Lindsay is, but this guy's name's Ashley. And he's a man. Again, fucking confusing. Ashley. Who the fuck names their boy Ashley? That's so mean. Anyway, and if you've got a son named Ashley, shame on you. Shame on you. I hope you gave him a cool middle name. Like, what? Lindsay, maybe, is the middle name. Anyway, Ashley Lindsay. Oh, just poor child. It's going to get beat up as a regular. China cracks down on Christians. Jails underground church pastors, it's kind of standard Chinese thing. They don't like Chinese Communist Party does not like faith of any kind whatsoever. There is only the party. That is all that they allow. That is all that they believe. That's all that you're allowed to believe. Anybody that tries to push anything else it's not allowed. Now, again, I'm not saying that's okay. I'm just, do something about it. Get pissed about it. I love it. I love it. I love people getting upset. China's banned. We got a war going on with China. That's first off. Let's just go. Boom. Right there. Okay. Major war going on with China. We're hitting on all sorts of different places. There seems to be places where China maybe thought they could do better than they are, and they can maybe pull back a little bit. Other places that they're trying to prod. It's an interesting thing that they're going about. So some of the stuff that came out today or within the last 24 hours, there's some ships, some container ships that I think fly under the U.S. flag, 5 of them specifically, that were manufactured in South Korea. The ships were built in South Korea. And again, we've offshored a lot of our shipbuilding because it was the green thing to do. So China's basically saying any of these 5 ships have to pay, or banned dealings by Chinese companies with 5 subsidiaries. So China sanctions 5 U.S. units of South Korean shipbuilder. So nobody's allowed to use these, right? China Commerce Ministry said Tuesday it was banning dealings by Chinese companies with 5 subsidiaries of South Korean shipbuilder. These are our ships, these 5 ships. So they're banned from pulling any Chinese goods, essentially, back to the United States. Now, again, we could use it in other countries, and we'll probably have to, but they were probably bought to be used specifically there. They probably get maintained and everything. Well, supposedly they were getting maintained in China, and China says, we're now not going to let you do that either. You can't do maintenance in our ship ports anymore. Like we were using China to take care of a lot of our stuff, which is kind of frightening too. So U.S.-China is rolling out a tit-for-tat port fees, threatening more turmoil at sea. So United States and China on Tuesday began charging additional port fees on ocean shipping firms that move everything from holiday toys to crude oil, making the high seas a key front in the trade war between the world's 2 largest economies. This is going to hurt California even more. Kind of good, though. It needs to happen. Gavin Newsom needs to fail. It needs to be he either needs to start doing things very differently, or it needs to become obvious that things are broken because they're still sort of able to kind of hold their demeanor. This will limit the amount of ships that will be coming into the United States, most likely. Also, the first container ship from China docks in the UK and went across the Arctic, which is, again, almost a straight across thing. It's significantly faster than traveling all the way around the other way. For a couple reasons. One, just going with the second, that the Earth is roundish. It is bigger at the equator than it is around the poles. So if you circumnavigate the poles, it's actually a smaller planet that way, if you will, than it is at the equator. So bigger down there. Okay, so it's kind of cool if they're doing it. Beijing vows to fight to the end in trade war with the U.S. Donald Trump has threatened to impose an extra 100% tariffs on all Chinese goods. So that's the war's happening, China's going to do it back. Now, supposedly they've stepped back from this, right? A lot of people were getting pissed off. A lot of stocks had issues. Gold and silver went up an insane amount over 2 days. U.S. Treasury, it's still going up today, I think. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has said Beijing's new export controls reflect a Leninist business model that could backfire on China and actually slow global growth. Long story short, if they make it more difficult for people to get products that they need to build stuff, then they're going to be slower on being able to build stuff. If they're slower on building stuff, that slows down production. If production slows down, that means that's less stuff we need from you, China. And so this doesn't work the way Beijing wants it. Now, Beijing wants to control the world. And they want to be able to control prices. They want to be able to control everything. They probably want to do everything in the Chinese yuan, which they're not even close to being at the place where they could pull that off. Their economy's not even built to be, they don't even buy their own stuff, basically. Chinese people they're not a consumer-based economy like we are. It's just very different. So, if they were more consumer-based, they would probably buy a lot more of their own stuff, and it would actually help China's economy more. They just don't do these things. They control what people can buy. They allow them what they allow them. Again, there's a lot of variety. Don't get me wrong, and they've got some cool stuff. It's not quite the same thing at all. So this is a big deal that's happening. Bessent says Trump and Xi Jinping, they're going to be doing trade talks. He says, now initially that was pulled away. Trump the truth out that it ain't going to happen. Apparently that's a waste of time. that's since changed. So Bessent's still like, yeah, no, he's going to go talk to him. He said that, I know, but things are working in the background. They've started chatting again. So they're trying to figure out a way forward. China, again, wants to have a lot more control. The United States is going to be like, look, you can do what you're going to do, but you're not going to control everything. You're not going to have control over resources that are important to us. You're not going to control every place that gets those resources. It's just not going to happen. We will go and take them, and you won't be able to stop us. And we'll do it sooner than you're able to stop us. And then what are you going to do? Are you going to threaten war? Because we can go nuclear and blow up the whole planet if that's what you want to do. But we're not letting you control everything, China. We're either all going to die together, or we're going to figure out a way to divide this up. So Trump's playing hardball, and it's very cool. This is, again, China. Poor driver dies in a Xiaomi. I don't even know how to say that, but it's a SU7 electric car. Got in an accident, immediately caught fire, and some horrible malfunction occurred when the car crashed. All the doors locked, and you couldn't open them. There was no way to open the door, and the car caught fire, and the poor driver died. So it's very sad. Very, very sad. You guys know me. I mean, loss of anybody's horrible, but why did it have to be an Asian person? India funds, they can't get physical silver. It's too hard to get. They're having a hard time getting it. It's actually scarce. So they've actually halted any new investments into silver because they want it, and they need it for like solar panels probably and a whole lot of other things. This is also, and this is one of the things many people have been talking about when it came to silver and the prices of silver and the way silver was going to go up. And so the expectation is that silver's got this multiplier baked into it because there is going to be this sort of level of scarcity, not just from people purchasing it to own it, but also for the usage in manufacturing. So places like China and India, and probably a handful of other places, need a lot more silver on hand to be able to manufacture some of the stuff they want to be able to manufacture. So this is reaching interesting places. Gold is still up, not a huge amount today. It's up a good number, though, $33.30. So 333, I like that. Good old 9 number. What do we got for, that's futures too, cool. Silver is, it's up 23 cents, so it kind of finally chilled at 50.66, or 50.66, I guess. But, there it is. Kitco's got the spot price a little higher than that, so this is kind of what people go by. So 51.56, oh yeah, that's kind of what it's showing. Now, it's a dollar difference, right? Yeah, this is like a dollar difference. So yeah, Kitco's a little higher because that's basically what the bid price is. So yeah, all said, a little bit more expensive when you go that direction. Gold's sitting at 41.44 when you handle it from that direction. What it's actually trading at over here is 41.66. So again, wow, that's weird. That's a big difference. Huh. Gold is lower than what it's trading at. Silver is higher. Never noticed. That's kind of strange. Maybe it's just because the change is faster over here. Who knows? But again, craziness is happening, and yeah, I just recommend guys getting out of their system. This system is not long for this world, and you certainly don't want to wait. If you got a 401k or an IRA, get out of their system. Let my good friends at Goldco help you get out of this. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Get out cash-free, penalty-free. It's actual physical metals. I've heard some other people talking about how they send you the physical metals. If they send you the physical metals, they're actually cashing you out. There's just no way around that from a tax standpoint. So just keep that in mind. It is physical metals. They're put into a trust, and you can request them down the road and have them sent to you. What I recommend is you get as much of that without any penalties or extra taxes right up front. So tax-free, penalty-free, they move it into a trust. Physical metals, they actually have more suppliers than most people too, so they've actually got a lot of abilities to hook up. They're going to give you up to 10% free silver, and again, that's the magic one right now. Silver is the sweet one. So you're going to get some extra silver out of the deal. Up to 10%, I should say. Depends on the dollar amount. You're also going to get a cool little collectible coin, Ronald Reagan, half-ounce silver collectible coin. Very, very cool. And you're going to get this gold and silver kit. And this gold and silver kit is freaking awesome. It's going to teach you why precious metals protects your wealth. It protects the value of your money. Not the value like number of dollars, but what those dollars can buy. The example I use, just because it works, I may be old at this point, but it is what it is. This was enough to buy a tailored suit back in 1930, which was basically $30. $30 was one gold piece. That would buy me a fully tailored suit. Today, it's $4,144. One tailored suit. You see, the dollars changed hugely. The value of this didn't. This holds your buying power while our dollar tanks. The value of gold, price of gold is going up because the value of the dollar is going down. Your stock price is barely going up, and they're definitely trying to pump money into it because it needs to continue to go up. Otherwise, you're below inflation and you're losing money. This doesn't. It protects your wealth, your buying power. It protects it. Once we get through this nastiness, that's when you get into something else, and you use this to pay for that something else. You don't ever do this in a good economy. This is a bad investment in a good economy. You have a teeny bit of it just for protection. But you don't do this in a good economy. You buy stocks, you buy treasuries, you buy all those things that work. Those things are about to break. This is where you go when the breakage starts. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Once again, DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that nasty system. Plus, these fund managers, they can't invest your money into the stupid DEI programs, these stupid companies that shouldn't be. They can't move your money into places that you don't really want it. You have control of where it's at, and it's protected. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system before they get out of you. Former LA school chief launches a bid to unseat Karen Bass. It's another Democrat, but I don't even care. Just as long as it's not Karen Bass winning again. So someone's going after, hopefully a Republican runs, but this is LA. I'm not gonna, get a cramp trying to do something impossible right now. I'm gonna take the win where I can get one. Let's get her out of there because she's friggin' ridiculous. Let's get someone in there that's actually merit-based rather than friggin' DEI communist. Gavin Newsom's just pissing us off. Again, a lot of this stuff, I don't even think legal. So again, it's just how long it takes us to get a lawsuit up, and then courts are going to stop this stuff once it finally gets signed in. And it takes a while to go into effect. So again, a lot of times we have plenty of time to fight it in court. But anyway, Gavin Newsom signs a bunch of crazy bills. I got two of them here in particular. AB 495, expanding non-parental control over children. Basically allows Family Preparedness Plan Act of 2025, allowing non-relatives to gain guardianship-like powers over a child with just a one-page form. No parental consent, background checks, or court oversight required. They literally can take the child away from the parent with one piece of paper. That's awesome. Got another one here. Signs SB 79. Democrats push land grab. California Governor Gavin Newsom just signed this, overriding local zoning to allow 7-story residential buildings in single-family neighborhoods within half a mile of public transit. Communities like the Pacific Palisades now face major development, marking a clear step in Democrats' statewide land and housing agenda. This is what it was always about. This is why they haven't cleared permits. This is why they're taking forever. This is why they're hoping people run out of money and eventually just give all their land to whoever offers them money for it, especially when they're desperate. So this is criminal what's happening. I pray that we've got people helping us. Again, it's not one of those things, Trump, help California. Trump, take care of the nation, right? California, we got to start friggin' helping California. Someone else has now announced that they've got one of these ballots with the holes in the, and it's going to be in the outer envelope, not the envelope that it comes in. So open that envelope, pull out the guts, and then the mail back envelope has a hole in it. Mine doesn't. I'm in the one Republican county, oddly, so they just assume all of ours are going to be like this. But these are, I know up in Northern California type places, they were seeing these holes in there. Now, I mean, my recommendation would be to put something that blocks the paper, or if you're really smart, put something that makes it look like, like it's white on the yes part, or white on the no part, if you will, and then black on the yes. If you want to be really deceptive, that's what I would do. Just put like something, like even tape it on the inside of the envelope. A white sticker and a black sticker, like on the inside of the envelope. And so that way when they see it, they're going to be like, oh, cool, this is one of those. And they'll turn it in. And then when they pull the ballot out, they'll realize it's not. That's a lot of work to go through. But if they know that you're blocking it, they might just assume that you're of no, right? But I don't know. The speculation is that they might mess with the ballots if they can see what the answer is already. So check if you're a California resident. Sorry, a lot of time, but it's kind of crazy. It's getting important too. Mamdani's family is joined at the hip with all sorts of foreign radical powers. A lot of questions around. Just one, if this dude's even able to get elected. I mean, I had zero faith in the elections in New York, so he'll probably win. Unless you all in New York come out in major numbers and go for Cuomo to demonstrate that you definitely don't want a communist running your state or your biggest city. For all these people that are working there, oh Lord. Yeah, I don't even know what. I'm just glad I'm not there. I didn't like it when I was there, frankly. A lot of people love it there. I don't. I was there once. That was enough. I don't ever need to go back. That was plenty. That was plenty. All right. Nobody cares. No caring about the Constitution at all. Washington teen faces a civil rights complaint because she wouldn't play with a male athlete in basketball. First off, this was like JV team, and the male that was playing against them was an 18-year-old. So that's kind of a little weird just already. But then, yeah, he's a male on the JV team as an 18-year-old. And she's like, I'm not going to play. And then apparently after the game or something, she said, you're not even a girl or something like that, or you're a boy or something to that effect. And because she said that and that's mean in Washington State, she's now in trouble. It's UK in Washington State, which can't even be legal. Walked by a male player and told him, you're a man. That's what she said. And because she misgendered him, that's apparently a problem. This, again, it's just friggin' insane. Second Amendment showdown. California bans Glock major handguns and major challenge to Top Gun rights. This isn't legal. It's not. There's already been numerous Supreme Court cases that have come out in recent years that have said this is crap. In fact, I had one highlighted. For whatever reason, it disappeared. But Thomas noted that such rulings suggest that states could ban AR-style semi-automatic rifles, even though an overwhelming majority of citizens who own and use such rifles do so for lawful purposes, including self-defense and target shooting. Under our precedent, that is all that is needed for citizens to have the rights under the Second Amendment to keep such weapons. This has zero chance of passing. This is one of the most popular firearms out there, especially in the 9mm variety. This is probably the most popular firearm out there, especially now that they've banned the SIG, basically, because it just fires all on its own if you drop it, apparently. If it's, it's got to be loaded and, hammer's got to be back and all that. I don't know what happens with safety on, and it's certainly not something I'd want to test, that's for sure. I'm just pissed because it's the one I have. It's the weapon I have, and I love it. It's my favorite weapon. I've got another one, a little S&P. It's pretty awesome. Iron sights. I think it's badass. It's really small, though. My pinky hangs off the bottom. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. They can't get rid of this. It's insanity. It's insanity. And it's hard to even find guns that are legal out here, for crying out loud. This is California Governor Newsom. He approved a new state agency to administer restitution for descendants of slaves. Problem is, we've never had any slaves in this state. Ever.
Gavin Newsom, after the George Floyd protests and riots of 2020, committed to putting in place a reparations advisory board, a reparations piece of legislation in California. He has now done so. He has committed to an advisory board that will look at everyone's case to allocate reparations for, well, that's the real key here. For what? Because we're talking about a state that never had slaves. We're talking about people who are not, if they're in California, the descendants of slaves, and giving money away and taking it from people who never owned slaves. So I don't know how this is going to work logistically, and I'm not sure what message that sends morally.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they think they're righting the wrongs of, our ancestors in the past. But again, like you said, logistically, how do you make that work? And why is it fair for people who never owned slaves? And historically speaking, it was a tiny minority of people who ever owned slaves to begin with. So people's that ancestors never owned slaves are now paying people who never were slaves. The whole thing is messed up, and it also just doesn't really focus on accountability and decision making, which is the thing that people need to be focused on, not getting handouts, not getting free cash, not getting help from the government.
Such a myriad of reasons for why we dislike Gavin Newsom, but again, some of why I'm spending so much time on it, not just because I live in California, but certainly because I don't want him to become president possibility in the United States, right? We already got to fight this. World is slowly waking up to the menace of lithium batteries in travel. They are causing fires all over the place, unexpectedly. This, I don't want to say freaks me out a little, because it does from the standpoint of if there's a fire on the plane, that's pretty scary. That's very scary, in fact. And it would probably be pretty toxic. But what scares me more is cell phones have lithium-ion batteries in them as well. And can you imagine a world where you're not allowed to take your phone? I mean, ultimately, that's what the worst would be, is you can't have a device that has one of those on it. It's one thing to say you can't charge it in a closed container totally. I mean, right now that's kind of what they're saying, mostly because most people's phones can't make it a whole day without being recharged, especially the way we use them. So this is, I don't know, a little something to be concerned about on a few different ways. Boeing's been given some major contracts. I feel like this is an attempt to save them, but they seem like they're so far gone that it's just painful. Whatever the case is, I hope they're able to work through this. Big contract for $2.7 billion for Patriot missile seekers. It's the specific part of the warhead. I think the part that actually scans for the whatever it's about to hit, its target. That is an extraordinarily important piece of the Patriot system. The missile. Each missile has a seeker, I believe. I believe there's only one per. I think it's a 1-for-1. But they are expecting to be able to do about 750 units a year. And that kind of bummed me out. I'm like, that's the most Patriot missiles we could possibly make in a year. Like, if we got in a serious war with anybody, we'd blow through 750 in a few days. I mean, we got to shoot 2 to 4 at each missile that's incoming for guarantees, right? I mean, hopefully our tracking systems are getting better in that regard, but still, 750, that's like, that's scary. Supreme Court rejects Alex Jones's appeal of $1.4 billion defamation judgment in the Sandy Hook shooting. Basically said this is like a financial death sentence. Again, this is one of those interesting ones to me. Everything about Alex Jones, like, first off, he's really popular, obviously, in the truther community, or whatever you want to call our side of the fence in that stuff. I used to love him a lot. He went off the rails a while back. I think even when he stopped hanging out with Joe Rogan's kind of when I thought he started getting a little nuts. And I think Sandy Hook was close to that. Not that I wasn't necessarily, questioning stuff, because I know there was a lot of different crisis actors that showed up all over the place, and there's just a lot of evidence. But it's kind of like, it's something that started back then that is so full force right now. And the Charlie Kirk thing, instantly, he's not dead. He's witness protection. So, it's just an instant thing. There's this entire mechanism that immediately begins to create that story, whether true or not, doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It becomes true to many people. And it's interesting to me. And Alex Jones, to me, kind of feel like he was one of the ones that really started that. 2, he's kind of hard on Israel, and it's funny is he's not getting any breaks, is he? So I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I was just curious. Yeah, there's just so many weird things with him. Like, Trump hasn't given him a break. Like, I don't know. I don't think he's everything he claims to be. How about that? Majority support social media ban for children. This is, big time. Even in our country, 63% of people support banning social media for kids. I think it's a brilliant idea. I think it's super important. Kids should not be on social media. It's doing extraordinary damage to them. After they're 16 or older, I mean, even older would be better, but still, their brains are at least more wired, and they're not messing with the synapses, expecting that dopamine hit for everything you do in life. That's kind of why we got to give ribbons to kids that came in 15th place, because they get a like from their parents. Oh, someone likes it. It's weird. So, yeah, social media, very dangerous. I know a lot of kids would be like, no, I'll kill myself. They'd probably throw themselves in some sort of crazy tantrum. But, I would say any parent, you shouldn't let your kids get phones. This whole idea of what if I need to get a hold of them, then have them use one of their friends' phones or call the school like normal times. You don't need to have a phone in your kid's possession just so you can call them, because if they use it for anything other than that, you failed. Really, you have. So this is, it's just it's something that's not necessary. Again, if you want to do it where it's just calls, or you make it a flip phone so it's annoying to text. But yeah, we gotta be smarter about being parents and stop expecting social media companies to protect your kids, the internet to protect your kids, the government to protect your kids. First off, we know they won't. Government's responsible for trafficking. I don't know, the last records we heard is close to 300,000 a year, right? Or were, anyways. MIT says it's not going to sign on to Trump's higher education compact. It was one of the, I think, 9 that were asked. And it says, no, we're not going to do it. I don't really care for why, but, not a surprise. They're going to not get the extra money, which is fine. Newsom threatened. I think, here's the thing. I think there's going to be some universities that are going to become stellar research institutions because they're going to get an infusion of money and they're actually going to appreciate it. And a lot of these institutions that used to be good, that are very woke now, will stop getting those contracts and will start to wither on the vine. And I think MIT will be one of those colleges, period. People are going to go where people are hiring from. And that's what decides a good school, frankly, is if it's got some sort of prestige in the business world. And that can change very quickly from MIT to some other place. I mean, Harvard, look how bad their reputation's tarnished at this point. Minnesota says it's going to not respond to Trump administration's demand to ban trans athletes until extensive review. Okay, you keep doing you. U.S. revokes visas of some 50 Mexican politicians, in a new drug war front. So they're apparently tied in with the cartels or whatever. This has happened before in the past, but this is kind of a lot, and it definitely does indicate that Trump is declaring war. Venezuela and drug people, and these same cartels are up in Mexico too. Don't think for a second that most of these cartels don't spread multiple states. That is totally what they do. So Trump is going after the cartels, and the military is definitely the only way that could ever happen. They're the only people that are badass enough and have the proper technology to make it doable. In fact, President Trump just hit another one of these drug boats. This is number 6. Oh yeah, no talking, but yeah, bits of stuff go everywhere. Supposedly there were 6 people on board this one. It didn't seem to be going anywhere. That's for sure. It was just parked, but it's parked and blowed up. That's where it's at, or where it was anyways. It's sort of a crater in the water. In the UK, Muslims are able to hand out Qurans while police arrest Christians for preaching the gospel. We've also got a case here. You're not allowed to sing church songs outside of church. This is literally the UK and California as well, and apparently Washington State also. This is insanity, is what it is. Oops. Israel stuff. A little bit going on over there, huh? A little bit of peace. Trump says there will never be World War III because of what's now happened.
We're going to make sure that the Middle East is going to be a safe and secure place. It's a very important place in the world. It means so much. There were so many people who said the Middle East, and this has been going for many, many decades. I've read it many times, that World War III will begin in the Middle East. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There was a time that you would have thought it could have, but it's not going to happen. There won't be World War III, hopefully at all. But it's not going to start in the Middle East. We're not going to have a World War III if we're smart. There'll never be a World War III. Our work begins right here and right now from...
I wonder how people feel about, there's a prophecy that says that's supposed to happen. Now, I've made my voice clear on where I feel that prophecy lies, but if we're doing things that are keeping that prophecy from coming true, how does that make people feel, right? Like, are you against it then? Or, I don't know. I'm not trying to be a dick either in any way. I'm actually curious. It's one of those curiosity questions. Like, does that ruin it? Or is there like some other angle where you can like spin that and be like, no, it doesn't mean that's not going to happen. It just means, I don't know. There might be some nifty little answer that we get. Bill Clinton put this out. I don't know. Just thought it was nice of him. Statement from President Bill Clinton. The horror of October 7th, 2023 attack on Israel and the conflict they reignited have resulted in unbearable human loss. It has been hard to watch and nearly impossible to rationalize. I'm grateful that a ceasefire has taken hold, that the last 20 living hostages have been freed, and that desperately needed aid has begun to flow into Gaza. President Trump and his administration, Qatar, and other regional actors deserve great credit for keeping everyone engaged until the agreement was reached. Now, Israel and Hamas with the support of the United States, the region, and the world, must try to turn this fragile moment into lasting peace that provides for the dignity and security of both Palestinians and Israelis. I believe that they can get there, but only if they do it together. That's actually kind of beautiful. I was like, wow, so much better than Biden. So much better. And the dude's like totally about to die. And he's doing better than Biden. IDF vows to destroy all the Hamas terror tunnels as part of a disarming Gaza. They're not planning on hurting people. I think they're just going to go through and wire a lot of them with explosives and just blow the hell out of them. So it might be interesting. They can't rebuild until they do it. But yeah, Israel's going to do some damage. Hopefully Hamas is being helpful and kind of letting them know where they all are and maybe even where the weapons caches are. But Palestinian issues isn't revolved, Lavrov's saying. He's been saying a lot of good stuff, typically. And he's not necessarily wrong here. This really just gets into the two-state concept, the fact that there needs to be a Palestinian state as well as an Israeli state. I mean, I don't know. I kind of agree, frankly. It was Palestine prior to Israel, the Belfort Accord, and then later in Israel being brought in, right? Like, so, I mean, technically. And then kind of reading the Bible, too. It's like if they somehow lost that land in just all the wars and crap, because there's a lot of warring that goes on inside the Bible. If they somehow lost that land, then what does that mean then, right? Like, anyway, so lots of questions. Still reading. I don't know. Still working my way through it. It's a big book. Like a good 650 pages in or so. Not bad. So anyway, yeah, we'll see. I know this is a whole new set of rules that we're going by at this point, but yeah, Trump has done a lot. In the past, literal, in the past 24 hours, yeah, really kind of 36 at this point. In the past 36 hours, as the hostages were freed through the peace accord he helped bring forth, President Trump did the following. He flew to Israel, greeted not as a politician, but as a messenger of reconciliation, spoke to the press with clarity and conviction, met with Israeli leaders, planting seeds of trust where fear once grew, embraced the families of the freed hostages, sharing tears, prayers, and hope, stood before the Knesset and delivered an hour-long address that stirred the heart of a nation. Set for an interview, his words echoing faith in the promise of peace, flew to Egypt, where he was welcomed as a bridge between nations, met with the Egyptian president and spoke to the press again, calling for the unity beyond borders, took time to greet, listen to, and honor dozens of world leaders, each encounter a moment of understanding, signed the historic Gaza peace deal, a testament to the possibility of light after long darkness. Delivered another speech filled with gratitude and resolve. Met privately with global leaders to chart the next steps towards lasting harmony. Then returned to the United States, carrying with him the spirit of hope reborn. Our great president, and in this moment, an instrument of divine peace, reminding the world that when courage meets compassion, miracles can happen. It's so freaking awesome that we're living in this time. Most peace we've ever had on this planet at one moment in time. I mean, mostly all we got is the little skirmish with Pakistan and Afghanistan, which I don't fully understand. We've got Madagascar thing going on, but I think that's something that's cleaning itself up from years of French fucking everything up. And then we've still got the Ukraine-Russia thing. Got a little talked about that, but Trump confirming that he's been approached by multiple wealthy countries who will pitch in to rebuild Gaza is pretty cool.
Up and building, and I'm pleased to announce that numerous countries of great wealth and power and dignity have come forward to me just today and over the last week to say they want to help in the reconstruction of Gaza, putting up whatever money is necessary. And the money is, of course, it's a lot of money, but it's not much compared to the value or the wealth of these tremendous countries. And they are ensuring stability and success in the Middle East. So when you think about it, it's a very, very small amount of money is necessary, relatively speaking. And as those commitments are made, I'm going to let the world know who is doing it, because they really deserve great credit for doing it. And they're going to do something that's really monumental. This is a monumental day. This is a monumental moment in the history of the world beyond the Middle East. We've all agreed that supporting Gaza must be done to lift up the people themselves, but we don't want to fund anything having to do with the bloodshed, hatred, or terror, as has happened in the past. And for the same reason, we're also agreed that Gaza's reconstruction requires that it be demilitarized and that a new, honest civilian police force must be allowed to create a safe condition for the people in Gaza. As I said earlier, I intend to be a partner in securing a better future. We're going to be working, you're going to be working with the United States, and we're going to make sure that the Middle East is going to be a safe and secure place. It's a very important place in the world, means so much. There were so many people who said the Middle East, and this has been going for many, many decades. I've read it many times, that World War III will begin in the Middle East. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Is it just me, or does it look like Keir Starmer's always got this like look on it, like I'm scared? Like, he's always got this weird pucker, like, I got a fart that I don't want to get out. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that expression is. I can't place it, but it always he looks so awkward, right? Right? Doesn't he look? He just looks awkward. Anyway, whatever. Maybe I'm being too hard on him. Sorry, UK. I don't want to get arrested. Thank God I don't live in your freaking country, though I can't ever come visit probably because of this. JD Vance says the president told me he did this on Indigenous Day in honor of you because Pocahontas was pissed off. She said, for 2 excruciating years, I have called for the return of the hostages brutally kidnapped on October 7th and held in Gaza. Today is a good day. As she attempts to take credit for it. So, of course, JD Vance, did it on Indigenous Peoples Day for you, Pocahontas. Redonkulous. Scott Jennings obliterates Obama for attacking Trump's crackdown on violent crime. It's pretty good. Scott Jennings is the rock star in CNN. They gotta hate him over there, but they love him because he's a ratings monster. People love him. You've actually got independents and conservatives watching CNN now. It's doing something.
Scott?
Yeah, I mean, he's been the most hyper-political and hyper-partisan post-president we've ever had. He's still acting that way. They're not over the fact that Donald Trump won the national popular vote last year. And they keep warning about the same things that they were warning and fussing about during the campaign, to which the American people then responded to. I think Donald Trump is executing every part of his agenda in almost exactly the way that he promised he was going to, up to and including enforcing laws in the United States that have been on the books for a very, very long time that his predecessor chose simply not to execute. You throw that on top of the fact that he's having this extraordinary success on the world stage, and I just think Democrats from Obama on down are having a heck of a time understanding where they went wrong and how Donald Trump has captivated a nation and now the entire world.
I mean, right? They are having to admit it. Bill Maher at the beginning, and here we are, kind of at the end, getting to the same stuff. Is Ukraine training drug cartel mercenaries from Latin America? Possibility they are. We think they are. There you go. That's the skinny of it. They've been going out there and training to fight with the Ukrainians, to learn how to use drones differently and better. So, yeah, something's coming on, and this maybe even ties into what's going on with us in Venezuela, as well as the cartels most likely in Mexico. Again, we'll see how these things play out. I think Venezuela will happen first, and we'll start to clear things out, and then we might have excuses to do things into Mexico, and then how that plays out optically, I can imagine that it'll be like Trump's going to do it and then take a little bit of political heat. We'll back him up for it, and then eventually, once they've got enough stuff taken care of, then Claudia Sheinbaum will be able to come out of hiding, maybe. I don't know. Again, with the last name of Sheinbaum, as a Mexican, by the way, which is a little strange. Russia is accusing Ukrainian intelligence of using ISIS for assassination plot. Again, they're trying to kill each other. I mean, assassinations are not legal. Believe it or not, there's actually rules in war, and killing leaders is not okay. Deep State does it. They're the only ones that seem to be able to get away with it, but no one else is allowed to do it, oddly. Assassinations have to be cleared on the highest levels. Ukrainian drone sparks massive blaze at Crimea's largest oil terminal. Just another strike for Ukraine. Cool. And this one, I don't know, hurt Russia pretty bad. A lot of fire on this one, multiple fires. I think they shot about 20 drones. U.S. intelligence has been apparently enabling Ukraine to be a little more destructive on some of these different sites that are not well protected, I think is what we're giving them. And so they're attacking the ones that aren't likely. And maybe they're helping them program routes that are safer, and that's very likely. So the drones can actually travel further without, worrying about getting shot down or disrupted. So probably good. Russia hammers Ukraine with glide bomb strikes. Took out a hospital, so they're playing it bad to the public. But supposedly they had already evacuated the patients Apparently, they let them know they were going to hit it, but they probably had some weapons there because it's typical to hide stuff like that within those facilities. That's what terrorists do. And Zelensky and his military are the Ukrainian battalion, what is it? The Nazis for sure, but you're not supposed to say that word. But essentially, they're the party that carries that flag still. Oddly similar to the Antifa flag. Speaking of which, Vladimir Zelensky, he's put this post out. Ukrainian's delegation has departed for the United States, hitting us up for money and defense stuff. They want long-range missiles and probably more Patriots. He says there's going to be several other important meetings with defense companies and possibly with senators and members of Congress. I will also meet with energy companies. This is necessary. It was President Trump's proposal, and this will help a lot of these energy companies. He's trying to get more weapons, though, for sure. Trying to see where he spells out which ones. I know the Tomahawks were part of it, the long range, but yeah, I don't think we're going to give them to him. That's just probably not going to happen. This whole Madagascar thing, I guess, was a Gen Z revolt. One of the military groups, or part of the military, or one of their units or something, joined the revolt, the Gen Zers, and so the president ran away, and now the military's in charge. President's actually been kicked out for abandoning his duties. Lawmakers voted 130-1 to impeach him, even though they were probably going to kill him, which is strange, right? Like, I left to save my life, and they're like, well, you should have stayed and died, and then you'd still not have a job. Either way, you're not going to have a job. So he's not there anymore. Madagascar military has seized power in the meantime, hopefully to keep things from getting too crazy out of control. But yeah, Madagascar is not just a Disney movie anymore, it seems. It's an actual country in Africa. So there you go. And for once, I'm actually sure of that. Got in trouble for guessing a country was in Africa when it was actually in South America. Yeah, oops. Whoops. SpaceX Starship prepares for its 11th test flight. It's got some heat shield, stress test stuff, orbital demos. It's going to be doing all sorts of cool stuff. 6:15 p.m. Central Time. When's that, today? Oh, that was yesterday? When's the launch? Did the launch already happen? I didn't recall seeing any videos yet, but I'll have to watch it. Yeah, might actually have some videos in there. Cool. I assume it, I don't know. I don't know if it went successful or not. I didn't see a follow-up. That's a bummer. This is kind of funny. Alec Baldwin crashes his Range Rover into a tree in the Hamptons. Now, if you were like me, the first thing you assumed is, well, he had to have been drunk. And then I read some of the story, and it seems that the police ended up showing up, and they took him into shelter because it was raining, So it was raining, and I was assuming they're drunk, but the cops were involved, and they're like, okay, they didn't bust him for DUI. All right. I don't know what happened. They crashed into a tree. You know how trees are. They kind of jump around. They're a little skittish like that, right? Hate that, man. You're driving down the road, and that tree's just bouncing around. You're like, fuck, choose a fucking place, man. God, you're worse than the squirrels, tree. But what I found out is, no, they were actually, see, this is the vantage point of a garbage truck. You may not know that because you're not an expert like me in driving garbage trucks. Actually, I'm not an expert, but I know it's a garbage truck because of the story. They're driving garbage truck, and apparently the Baldwins were attempting to pass them on the right. It's raining, and the shoulder's definitely grassy, and so not a good idea. Still wondering if they're drunk.
Hitting a mailbox and a tree off to the right side of the truck. The actor and outspoken Trump hater claimed on social media that he was driving his wife's Range Rover with his brother Stephen Baldwin in the passenger seat. He said he was trying to avoid hitting this truck, so he veered off the road into the tree. Hitting a mailbox and a tree off to the right side of the truck. The actor and outspoken Trump hater.
Right, so again, I just for some reason wanted to watch that a second time. So much fun. Yeah, craziness. Couldn't ask for worse things to happen to the Baldwins. Just such a bad dude. He's what an evil piece of trash. Especially after shooting those two people. Messed up. Anyways, guys, we got a lot going on, and I'm going to do my best to hopefully be some sort of neutral ground along this, man. You guys, we're all over the place in our views and our beliefs, but someone's got to kind of stay in the center area. Just have a place where you can ground yourself to every once in a while, and then go back out and check out the crazy rabbit holes. I love you guys, that's for sure. I know that much. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.